If you look at the macroeconomy today, we have a never-ending recession. I mean, officially, the recession ended 3 years ago. I don't think anybody running for president thinks the recession is really over, because it's not. And it's a crisis of inadequate demand. I think every economist would agree that that is the problem. There's not enough demand out there. And if there isn't demand, then business won't invest and they won't create jobs and so on. So the idea somehow that the answer to this is getting wages down further, getting, convincing more workers, more union workers to make concessions, or busting unions, seems to me completely misguided. That is not the healthy, forward-looking path for the U.S. economy, because part of what we need, and I think the innovation question is really interesting too. I mean, for manufacturing, for a successful manufacturing sector in the United States, and I know Scott talked about the great work that Brookings has done on this front, we're not going to be successful making, concrete and widgets. We're going to be successful doing high-tech work in the United States. That's what we should be doing. High-tech, capital-intensive, skill-intensive work. And that kind of work is not one where, chiseling a couple of bucks off of the hourly wage of your workers is going to be the path to success. What you want is a good long-term relationship with your workers where they are part of the team that is helping to figure out what the most productive, innovative ways of producing are. And, we see this kind of struggle of bargaining power in the labor market in the United States, where employers do have a high hand. They have a lot of, they can go to another country. They can go to another part of the United States. They can break American labor laws without much fear that they're going to be called to account, because our labor laws are pretty weak today. So they can fire workers for trying to organize a union, and they might or might not get caught, and if they get caught, they might or might not pay a fine, and that might or might not be more than a mosquito bite on their butt. But I guess I still think that it's a short-sighted path. So, manufacturers, to the extent that companies like Caterpillar are obsessed or focused on beating back their workers, they can win that battle. They can fire workers. They can get workers to accept lower wages. But for the U.S. economy to get going again, to rev up, and to have some forward momentum, we're going to need workers to have good jobs. We're going to need to figure out our health care problem. We're going to need to figure out our retirement security problem. And that needs to be done on a national level. And if business takes a line in terms of the political debate that we don't need a government-funded health care program, we need to cut back on Social Security, and we need to bust unions, then we're going to end up with an economy that never does recover.